Sambalani, and welcome to the Easter weekend, brought to you by the sound of KZN. We are Gagasi FM, the kings of the weekend and the place to be. I'm Spectacular, you know DJ Names, and our boys are here as well. It's Dreamteam. That's right. Saso, and shout out to Trey as well. So why Salana today is it being a big weekend. I mean, there's a holiday. Well, it's planned a holiday with some loom. So it's
a holiday Monday,
right? So screwing a club culture, like the things that we see out there in the nightlife that people would not believe. I think for me, the first thing that comes to mind is just the entitlement. Yeah, buying like on that weekend. Everyone feels guilty. They need to have the biggest table at the club, and they need to show us their lifestyle, or whatever they've been working for over the month. And for me, it's ridiculous. I don't get it. Umuntu angafuna ukukhoka, like for instance, like excess fee emnyango, like ye clipper or 50 or whatever, but no, vele ngizoshiya u50,000, ngizoshiya 80,000. Then why don't you just leave the $100, bro?
No, but to be fair, you shouldn't. You shouldn't pay $100 if you're gonna go drop money. You should get a table automatically because you're at the top end. Just addressing that.
So when you are nurturing late behavior.
No, I'm saying to you that's the model of clubs, that you don't make someone who's going to spend at a table.
Because before you had to do both.
Yeah, but that was before, like, people were balling. People were spending 50 bands a club. Like, before, you take or Savada or whatever. Now it's bottle service. No. That is the standard now.
Looking at the past and where we are now, is it a good thing or a bad thing for the culture in general? Because now we've lost things like dance space. I want to no longer feel comfortable being able to take my 4 boys. Let's say cups at a small, take them up out, date and have a good time. Now we are forced to buy a table for a minimum spend at 10 or 15K.
I think it's twofold, Pay. I think the first instance is social media. Before Amajita were spending money in the clubs, it's just that they weren't posting about it. You know what I mean? So they would pay their 100 Rand at the door and then still go and spend money and ball out. You know what I mean? The other part of it is we've lost a lot. And it, unfortunately, with the changes in the music, the changes in the industry, that's what's going to come with it, because the game is changing, the game is developing, and maybe abantu abasafuna ukujiva, sebafuna ukubhuzuka nje kuphela.
My 2 cents is, I think abantu bayafuna ukujiva. Every time you go to clubs, you can see people dancing on tables, standing on couches, wanting to dance. I think that people have just been focused on getting the money more than anything. So owners want to make sure that money is spent. So they're like, hey, here it's coming slowly in the dance floor, just beers. Let me prioritize the table boys, the ballers. So that's why we probably lost out in that.
And do you feel it's a good or bad thing for the culture? That was my question.
No, I think we should find a balance in both. Clubs should create enough space for a dance floor and enough space for tables and seatings. Find a balance, Chief.
The only problem is that now, clubs are focused on spenders for a reason, because they are the top of the food chain. And everybody else kind of is subsidized by the fact that there are spenders in the club. So, kind of moving towards creating space for dance floors and all those things, it doesn't really work for the club model anymore.
And their overheads, I guess.
100%. Yeah. But for me, I think obviously that's not...
The club
overheads. He's right. No, you have to, but you have to move something to put something at there. You have to remove a table to put a dance floor.
Think about it. If minimum spend is 15K and you've got 4 tables, it's 60K guaranteed off the bat before I add them all to
100%. Yeah, so I think it is a bit of a loss, especially for the enjoyment of music purely, because it's now focused towards the money end of the spectrum, which fair is fair. It's a business, you got to run it.
Okay. The number one omunye is ukuthi le ndaba lena ukuthi siqale sibeke inyawo phezulu ngama couch nani siqale phezulu. Does that also make sense, or are we all just losing our minds?
Yes, dog, we're having fun. And it's hip-hop. Hip-hop, it dog. That's what we saw in the music videos. We're trying to, it's like, it's having fun. Emulate the lifestyle, having fun, having a good time. Even though we don't do that at home. But I think now clubs have created the furniture to now withstand us standing. Dog, they have.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I owned a venue. There's nothing I spent more money on.
Wait, hold on. Oh, you heard that, right? Okay, cool.
There's nothing I spend so much money on like replacing couches. Ihabli, shisa makauchi, shisa makapeti, ni mapezi kwa makauchi, ni pula la mabla. Like, it's just costly. It's a very costly exercise. And I guess it needs to be a line item in the business. You know, mele senza masita uncomfortable. So enze ngemabulu or ngeliche ukuthi noma ngaqhuma. Yeah, abba.
Oh, dog, it doesn't matter even if you make the seats uncomfortable. Yeah. I think it becomes a line item in the spend of a particular table.
I mean, I remember the first person that I saw stand on a couch in my life, and I was shocked.
Who?
I remember that the club was icon. I find his kid no pack of a face. And when I say his kid, not like these stylish things. He was wearing white PE shorts. Yeah. His keep is mnyama, no pack, the tongue ones. Icon
Havanas.
Do you know who it is?
Sounds like DJ Fresh.
No.
Who was it?
Hands in the air if you've been.
Sim Dope.
Sim Dope was the first person I ever saw stand on a couch.
Bob's your uncle.
I was like, but I get at the time I didn't know what Sim Dope buying. I was shocked. Bouncer.
What's happening?
And then the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I don't know if spend can justify those things because once you get to that thinking, that means there are things you're willing to turn a blind eye to because I'm spending so much at the club versus, you know.
But it's happening already.
Like what else? What else?
What do you mean, what else?
What do you mean, what else?
What else can you turn a blind eye to?
It's obvious.
Guningi.
Yes.
Give us line items.
Line items.
No, Guningi.
I can give you some line items.
Okay.
Like I think one that we all need to be very careful of because it's Dimasendao as well is the prostitutes.
Oh,
this whole thing of prostitutes coming into the space and getting like themselves bottles and waiting for ballers to come on and offer to buy them drinks and then they have a discussion on what mind just sees and I was that should not be allowed to happen in the club.
okay. I'm not sure.
For them having a certain space.
The prostitution. Like, you know.
But okay, wait.
Don't let them in.
Okay, but that's tricky now because
Why?
one you can classify it as prostitution, right? But on the other end of the scale, people that are spending money in general are doing it for two reasons. One, they want to have fun themselves. Two, they want to attract a particular kind of person, right?
But we also know the people about those seven.
No, but I'm saying to you that now let's remove the prostitutes from the equation. Iyenzeka anyway lento isho because labantu laba bazospend imali bazofike babona amantombazane ayihlalele coming to have their own good time. They're gonna either send alcohol to them or they're gonna call them to come and sit at the table.
Okay with.
So I'm saying it happens in one form or another.
Yeah, but it mustn't be official because now you know Wuti Laba are part of that clique.
So you're saying it mustn't be obvious.
Because I'm making $500,000 off of them this year, let me turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah, bro.
Like
I mean, in theory, in theory,
you're saying they shouldn't be allowed in the club.
Some integrity, like they must be in their own spaces, like it's called.
That's a tricky one.
It's tricky. It's gonna be.
It's Sodom and Gomorrah, bro.
You're basically saying all the people they are doing that.
I'm saying not all of them. Majority, especially majority of the girls that go there are into that. And the ballers want those girls. Yes. And yes, majority clean.
Like what's extending
in the club.
In the club.
Clean. And the spenders wants them.
It's Sodom and Gomorrah.
They don't want to abafuna ukushela look at how phela ukahle and say this how much 15,000 okay come here sit here let's drink let's go cling and out.
So are you basically saying we see now the culture in Zanzi nightlife is basically has deep dived into merging with prostitution?
Merging, it's there. Sithi merging. Kukonakela amanzi angena endlini kuyafiwa manje kuyathengiswa.
It's bad.
No, but also I don't think that's only relative to club culture. I think it's a system wide approach. Girls have just decided that hey man, we're gonna get to the bag. And guys that have the bag are not mad at spending. Yeah.
I think I still have hope. I want to be. I have hope.
No, I don't agree with that one. I personally still believe there are some lots of good human beings. Yeah, I just think the space that we play in, it's Sodom and Gomorrah, and there is for sale.
Yeah, so let me quantify my conversation. I'm saying to you, yes, of course, there are bakhona abantu baningi futhi who are moving in the right ways, doing the right things, making their own means, and are being positive contributors to society. Yeah. I'm saying to you, there's a very big part of especially since the introduction of social media, there's a very big market of people who have decided, no, actually, this thing is very easy. I mustn't have my own plan. I mustn't make my own sort of way in the world. Somebody can give me this thing. All I have to do is A, B, and C, and then I get into that thing. Now, when it comes to club culture, is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. Only the person who's running the business, who has to pay the bills, can tell you what the benefit of keeping the space pure. Because at the end of the day, remember, to his point, it is Sodom and Gomorrah. We are grooving after dark until the morning. When people are waking up to do positive things, we are going to sleep. We are drinking alcohol.
One of the major reasons that I agreed with we needed to sell our club was Uguti. I couldn't handle about Uguti. Like there were these bottle girls and hosts. They were coming in and innocent and to just market the club and what we have to spenders. Then after 6 months' time, we are about to this person physically has changed, their attitude has changed, their whole personality has changed. So I just couldn't do that anymore.
It got dark real quick. And the moment it gets dark, like there's other things that come into play now when these girls are literally saying, listen, Sharp, I'm not going to work here anymore, but I just need to make sure I have access. Because the access gives me access to the ballers.
How crazy is that?
And that's how I feed my family.
Literally, you can fire me, but please allow me to still be able to come in here and buy.
Then the dealers start calling you to say, no. Abantu bethu bakhona lapho sicela umuntu wethu abe ne-access ukuthi azokhona ukuthengisa into ezinjena thina soyenza sure ukuthi sikushare labo security abayi-2. No one will it gets really dark, and then you're just sitting there and you're like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, so it changes real quick.
But is the money dark when you're making 400% profit?
It's very dark.
On bottle pricing, a bottle of tequila is $1,000. You're selling it for 4,000.
Also, yes, the money was great. Yeah. But are you willing to sacrifice who you are, how you were raised, Kaya? And also the other thing for me was people were getting trashed, getting beat up and stuff, saying he's an old lady. Little when about it later tavern yako wenza sona so shaya abantu. So manje maseyibuya akusese into ukuthi eklabhini bekliwa and on top of that, it's now coming from the community and it's getting to Uma, which means now I've also lost. Isdima sami nje as a human being is gone. I'm now known as the drug prostituting, alcohol selling human being.
And I've never even seen plasma next to arms, so you can imagine.
Never.
I always wonder how they I always wonder how they get the drugs into the club.
Oh, let me tell you. They put them in their pockets. They walk in.
Oh, look, I'm talking about the ones that sell it.
Yeah.
And then bouncers not searching? No. Or they give them something on the side?
You got searched in the club.
Yeah, but I'm a real nigga, search a real nigga. Come on. Allegedly.
You're all entitled. Like, how many times?
You see? This is exactly what we talking about.
No.
So or not you specifically, but your type of character that you've just described.
Yeah. The ones that's selling.
Listen to me. Babhuka amatafula bangena banga adhere to it dress code and ibona bangena now because that's the loophole.
Can we talk about another aspect of this current club scene? Unpaid bills, or this thing of a city renting bottles, because it's a real thing, right? Trish, I was shy, bro. Not in something to say.
Unpaid bills. So there was a story not so long ago about a club in Cape Town that had over 2.5 million rand in outstanding. And unfortunately, because in the club, most people that are spending money will have a relationship with somebody who is on a management level. Yes. they have the ability to say,
Yeah.
or noma sengiphuze kakhulu let me ngizokhokha ekuseni.
Yeah.
Which then turns into a months or sometimes years and sometimes write it off kind of situation. So oh my goodness.
Tell us.
Unpaid bills, bro.
Tell us.
Oh, bro. You have to chase people to pay bills. Walkouts. People just decide, okay, nobody's paying attention to me. I'm gone. And then now you have to deal with the waiter to say, how are we gonna settle this? Because this is your table. This person spent 35,000 rand, and you have to charge it to the waiter. And maybe what you do then you say, the best I can do is say I can charge you at cost. But you have to replace the stock because somebody walked out.
On your watch.
Yeah. So it's a very dark thing, that one, because it can create resentment quite quickly in the workspace for waiters. Obviously it hurts your operation as a whole when you have
like your whole cash flow.
Yeah, your cash flow is screwed because you know, if you have 10 tables that have walked out in a weekend, you can imagine how much money that is and what it does to affect what you are able to do on a month-to-month basis. So it's crazy. Oh my goodness.
I've learned that the ballers don't like to be embarrassed. So there are venues where I've seen them post lists of people and their bills. Those bills get settled real quick. Bashayi list. Guti Saso.
They did that as well.
Saso owes us 4,500. Trey.
They posted it up.
Yeah, the bills. And then the second one is scratched out of the people who have paid their bills. Fast. And that's how people get their money. And I remember in East London we had a similar thing. Nabo, but Leo Yalikwa is one of the staff. Likwa. Gwashuba lada. Uyazi ukuthi uhleli nomuntu ilist icede ukuphuma within an hour iphone yakhe ibhiza in contact ting everybody settling their bills.
Yeah, because also people that spend money want to do so in their own time, which is unfortunate. So umuntu will be like, ngizobuya ngimbone lo. And maybe in their mind they're thinking they'll pay you the next time they go to your establishment. Kanti they don't understand. No, we need it now. We need it now.
Do you think they do that in white establishments or black establishments only?
Yeah, but also white establishments don't run like those guys. Bafunipiya and shots.
No, I'm talking clubs. White-owned clubs.
How many white clubs do you know currently?
I think yes.
No, there is. Yeah. There's an owner who owns a lot of clubs who's white. There's like 5, 6. He's got a lot. Yeah.
No, they do the same. But
they do the same.
So you want to tell
No.
And everyone, I'm sure.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
So I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. What you're talking about is someone who's still servicing the black urban market. I'm saying if we are looking outside of the black urban market, if black people were to go to a white club or a white establishment, do they behave in the same way? Do they do the same kind of things where they will leave without paying bills? Do they go there and pay after 2 months?
You're having shots and drinks.
I think
there's not really bottle service in white clubs.
Yes.
I think.
And shots. I think let's leave it for part 2. Yeah, well. So part 2 is definitely on the way, but shout out to you again for watching this on Easter weekend. We're talking club culture here. It's the Kings and Dreamteam.
EU Pippins.
The views and opinions of the panelists here do not depict.
They reflect.
Gagasi FM kanti ngizoyithola kanjani eGoli?
I wish I could listen while I'm at work.
The depression I have though when I'm not tuning in to Gagasi FM, I feel like I'm missing out.
Hayibo guys, angadlala ngathi limnandi phela Gagasi.
Yes, we hear you and siyavuma. It's time to have your favorite radio station with you wherever you are. Right in the palm of your hand.
How, you ask?
With the Gagasi FM app available on Android and iOS. Download the Gagasi FM app now. Live stream your favorite shows. Connect with your favorite presenters. News, we've got KZN covered. Win Kuma competition and catch up on content you've missed with Ama Podcast. Bonke Logo is available on the new Gagasi FM app.
That's right.